Welcome, everybody, ladies and gents, back at it here at Front Office Report after a crazy, amazing end to the football day yesterday. Mason Crosby showed the Vikings how it's done,
Yeah,
how you finish a field
definitely.
goal. Oh man, it was intense. I mean, for the Packers, it was an amazing game. The 49ers showed up towards the second half. They were non-existent in the first half. But yeah, super excited.
Yeah,
But yeah, what were your thoughts overall on Sunday? Let's just get that out of the way before running into tonight's game.
yeah.
What you
I
think
wish
about
it.
any?
Yeah, I wish it never ended. It was so much fun, like the entire day. Not all the games, but the vast majority of games are so incredibly close. It was kind of like one score games, which I love. I love the Broncos game. We were talking about it. We were like wanting the Jets to score so they could force the Broncos to throw a little bit more. But I just hate like the
I
blowout
wonder why.
games. Yeah, because of our fantasy football teams. And yeah, it was really good. Two really good last second field goals. Let's not forget the
Oh my
66
god, yes.
yarder from Justin Tucker. That was just insane. Once in a lifetime, will probably never be beaten ever. Like, I don't know how you can hit 66 yards in that
Like
situation.
he needed every inch, every centimeter. That's
Oh my
insane.
god,
Like
yeah. Yes.
poor Lions fans. I am sorry.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, it shouldn't have been that close anyway. I don't know what Baltimore was
Yeah.
doing.
I mean, when they were up 10-0, I think Hollywood Brown had like three drops that would have been
One
touchdowns.
drive.
Yeah,
Had
that's just
three
insane. It
drops
should have
in
been
one drive.
17-0, the game over. And I'm so pissed because if the Baltimore Ravens had scored two more points, I'd have had £12,000, around $20,000 in a parlay bet. I can't believe it.
Out of what?
1.5 points.
Out
One
of how
point.
much? What was your bet?
I put on 50, I think it was. 50 to win 12,000. That's
It's
insane.
crazy.
That would be my big. I would never have beaten that ever again. It was a once in a lifetime thing, and I wish I'd done money line for Baltimore, but they really should have covered against.
Damn, that's so
Not
sad.
even
That's
covered.
so
It
sad.
was like -4. I put them at. I put like an alternate thing. I was
Yeah,
like, surely they'll cover -4. 7.5 is maybe a bit too much, but they win it by a field goal, so it was. It hurts.
yeah, and I
It
was
hurts to think
same with
about.
the Raiders. You remember how we were
Yeah.
talking about the Raiders, and the spread was -3.5,
Mm,
and we were like, they know something we don't know.
yeah.
Like, clearly, we were like, they must know something. Like, how do the Raiders not beat the spread? And they didn't.
No, they
They
didn't.
won by three.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That was
crazy
the.
to think.
It was weird. The Raiders game was so odd because they started so badly. We were both so annoyed. Down 14-0 within like the first 5 minutes. And then they slowly climbed back with field goal. I think it was double field goal, touchdown, field goal, or something like that. And they leave it to the last second to obviously score. But like on that final drive, so many mistakes were made defensively for the Raiders. It was kind of like the Raiders had won against the Steelers through defense. The Raiders had won against Baltimore through good defense, and then Miami game shows up. They're not against a particularly good offense. I think the Steelers and Baltimore both have better offenses than Miami obviously does, but they kind of I was kind of hoping for them to lose because they didn't deserve to be a 3-0 team after that performance against Miami. If they played against a
Yeah.
semi-competent team, that's an L. That's a straight up L. But it is what it is.
I mean, the pick six. I mean, there's nothing really to do other than Derek Carr obviously not throwing the interception, but there's nothing you could have done for that. What was very surprising was that right after that, you're on your own 30,
Yeah, go
the
fourth
fourth
and
down,
one.
you
Yeah.
decide to go for it. Like,
That was crazy. That was crazy. So early in the
you
game,
just
too. You don't want to go down 14-0. You don't even want to go down 10-0. You want to keep it a one-score game. You just punt it. You got such a good defense as well. That's what I was thinking. I was like, the Raiders are supposed to have like a pretty decent defense, and they kind of didn't trust them at all this game. They kind of went for it on fourth down super early. They gave up that really late touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Like, oh my god, like it just wasn't good for the Raiders yesterday. They did
yeah.
pull it off. Kudos to them, but they were lucky. I would put it down to very, very much luck.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I mean, 3 field goals in overtime. That was just crazy.
yeah,
But yeah. Anyway, since we're talking about those games, let's just quickly go through what we had predicted. Sadly, we don't have Seven Omar here, but we all
right.
made picks as to what do we think happened with the games.
Yeah.
Um, I am dead last right now. Even if the Cowboys, we all picked the
You took a
Cowboys
lot of
to
different
win.
picks compared to the rest of us. Us three kind of like took more or less the similar picks, but you kind of went against us in quite a few of them. I remember you taking the
Yeah.
Bears instead of the Browns. Um,
So I mean, these are I mean, let's not talk about the ones that we all agreed on pretty much, but like you said, the ones that maybe few of us, kind of went away. So Seb was the only one to pick Washington over the Bills. That was a little weird.
that was a weird one.
Uh, but he was the only one to pick the Rams in the Bucks Rams game.
I
So
don't know
that
why I
kind of
didn't
made
take
up
the Rams.
for
That was
that.
so dumb. I just saw Tom Brady and I was like, Tom Brady, primetime TV, you gotta
Same.
win. And yeah, he didn't.
I did pick, the Bears and the Browns. I don't regret. I think that game could have gone two ways, and it went the worst way possible
Right,
for
yeah,
them.
I agree.
You can
I'm
either
not.
have the crazy, Justin Fields
mm,
game, or I get sacked 9 to 10 times.
I'm not taking the
Fields gets,
Bears for the rest of the season. I don't think they
no,
stink,
um,
and it's not the team. It's definitely 100% the coach. Matt Nagy
yeah,
needs fired. I don't care. He is just the worst. He takes too much control. He doesn't trust his offensive coordinator. Does everything himself. Absolutely wrong. That play scheme was not made for Justin Fields. Justin Fields is not supposed to be like a quick shotgun passer with like a millisecond to get rid of the ball. He is very much a hold on to the ball, scramble, long shot down the field kind of guy. And he just doesn't have the time in this offense. And it's like they didn't use I think they use tight ends only on 17% of snaps. So they didn't even block with tight ends. They decided to use wide receivers. Like, it just made no sense. The entire scheme is a complete shambles. And whether Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, or Justin Fields starts next week, I don't think they're gonna win. I don't even know who they're playing against, and I don't think they're gonna win.
yeah.
So
I mean, they should give the ball more to Justin Fields. I think that was kind of like a demoralizing for him.
yeah, I don't think
I
he'll
mean,
be too demoralized though. Like, he knows that he's a good football player. It's just a
but I
fucking
mean, it's your
stupid
first
scheme.
start, and you get sacked 10 times, 9, 10 times.
Yeah,
Like, it's just brutal.
yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, it might have not been demoralizing then, but if then you get pulled out,
right.
you're like, okay, it kind of wasn't my total fault. But anyway, so I had picked them. The one that I made up for was I was the only one that picked the Bengals to beat the Steelers.
Yeah, nice pick. Good pick.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Not
Omar
picking
was
this.
the
I'm
only
not
one that
picking the
picked.
Steelers again either. I think I'm done with the Steelers now.
Yeah, I think it's all the way from now until they change quarterback. So
yeah.
um, Omar was the only one that picked the Falcons. We all picked the Giants.
That was a very
just
close game though. That was like a slog fest, last second kind
yeah,
of game.
that was a snooze though. I'm glad I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
And then the one that I did regret, because it's funny though, because when we were talking about the spread, I had picked the Saints.
Yeah.
Then I don't know why I picked the Patriots here. It makes no sense. But
Weren't
I
the
paid
weren't
for
the
it.
Saints +3 though? They were the underdog against the spread.
Really?
I think so. I think the
Okay.
Patriots were -3 and then the Saints were +3
Okay.
from what I remember.
Okay.
So your
Fair
pick
enough, fair
does
enough.
make sense if you thought it was gonna be a close game. It does correlate,
Sure.
but yeah.
It was not. So Gabo last with 9 points, awaiting tonight's verdict. Omar with 10, Dan and Seb with 11. You and Seb with 11 up ahead. We all picked the Cowboys, so there's no one else is moving.
And I should really last second change it to the Philadelphia Eagles just in case I
mean,
get that extra point. You should.
I should.
You
I
should.
should.
You're behind at the moment.
I
wouldn't,
just wasn't
though.
sure if I was allowed. But
You can do what you want as long as the game's not played. I don't think it matters. I
That's
think you should
true.
be able
That's
to make
true.
the change as long as you
That's true,
notify
that's true.
everyone.
he said, hey,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah. We should also do
but
it
yeah.
against the spread. One of these sheets. Maybe I can do it because you made this one, and we can talk about it because I think against the spread is really different compared to money line, like straight up winning, especially for people who
I mean,
are degenerate gamblers. So
like us.
Yeah,
We didn't
exactly.
we didn't do that well, if I
We didn't
remember
do that
correctly. I
well.
think,
Well, I guess okay. So
think
let me tell you this: the guys who do Barstool Sports, I'm actually going to bring up their record right now because they stink. It makes me feel really good. I think they're like 1-11 or something. One of them is against the spread, which shows how difficult. Like it's your job to know the spread and
yeah,
like do
you
everything
know,
and
we did
win.
more than half.
Yeah.
So
Wait, let me see. I'll bring it up eventually.
trying to
Um,
find which is the one that we have.
okay, I've got it
Uh,
here. So, they went. So one of them went 1 for 4. So they don't do all of them. They do it for like betting, like serious, like only take it because they think they're gonna bet on it. One went 1 for 4. The other went 3 for 7. The other went 2 for 4. So it's not that good. They're like 4 for 12 overall, 6 for 4, 6 for 5, 8 for 13. Like none of them are really like in the positive. So it's very difficult. That's why I like against the spread. Against the spread is kind of like you have to be very confident in your pick.
and so yeah, and you have to understand like more of the game. So
Mm,
here's mine did one better than yours because I
okay,
picked the Bengals, right?
nice, nice.
So we're basically the same. I'm just gonna show you mine,
Okay,
which is assuming pretty much everything that we did except the Bengals one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and if the Cowboys win by 3.5, that's 10 out of 15.
we won 10 out of 15.
It's not bad at all.
Bro, that's really good. We should we should be hired by Barstool Sports because we're better than their guys. Apparently, definitely, 100%. They're at like 30%. We're at like right now, what 66.66% at the
25,
moment or
no?
something. I don't know.
Oh,
So
yeah, 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 66, 66. Yeah, you're right.
so if we get that, we'll be above 70%. So that's really good for against the spread. I'll tell you that. But I
Week
feel as
one.
though this week's games were probably the most betting friendly games I've seen in quite a while. As you can see, I nearly won like 20K. So that shows you how easy it was. But this week, we're not really going to talk about this week yet because that's what we do on a Thursday. But this week it seems to be a lot more difficult. There's a lot more like close matchups. You're like, oh, I have no idea which way this is gonna go. So I'm kind of interested in one to see what the spread is gonna be like for all the games next week, and two to see like who we pick. It's gonna be fun. I enjoy I
Yeah.
enjoy it for sure.
Well, I had a lot of fun doing it with you and putting up $1 there and hopefully
Yeah.
gaining 12K. Like,
Yeah.
if we do this every week, we are bound to win one.
I hope so.
It's
Else we're gonna
so
be in the
important.
negative for quite a lot, a lot for the whole
So that's
season.
what
So.
$1 per week. That's $18 a year.
Yeah,
I can
exactly.
deal with
Exactly,
it.
exactly. We were close. We were close. I will take I'll take that loss
Yeah.
this week, but hopefully we'll have closer games soon.
All right. So before we jump into tonight's game, just super quickly,
Mm.
Josh Gordon going to KC.
Mhm.
Let's think about it fantasy wise. People are obviously putting this happened before the waiver wires. People are gonna go crazy. The ones that don't
I actually picked him
really.
up last week for a dynasty league. He was dropped week 1, and then as soon as the news came out that he was allowed to play again, I picked him up, and it is a fairly deep league, so
Yeah, this is gonna be.
it doesn't really harm me picking him up. As far as redrafts go, I'm not too sure if you should pick him up just yet. I think you need to give him a game or two
Yeah.
to see what he is going to be like, but. Very interesting. I love the landing spot for him. He needed to get out of Seattle because I mean, how many times did he relapse? Like 2, 3 times now. He's kind of failed his drugs test,
And
been suspended, blah blah blah. So
what, 28 right now?
yeah, so I think he needed to get new coach, new change of scenery, new teammates. And I think this is going to work out for him. I really hope it does. He's a fantastic player. We want to see him succeed. It would be cool to see him win a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. So
Yeah. I personally don't think you will. I mean, like you said, Dynasty, if you have the spot super deeply, go for it. You got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
But redraft, this is a 30-year-old that has had multiple chances in the league, and he's coming into a very heavy, filled up offense. You've seen what happens to the Demarcus Robinsons, to the Mecole Hartmans. They just being, as long as if it's not Tyreek Hill or Kelsey, kind of like a toss up. So I don't. I mean, I like the spot, like you said. It's football wise. I think it adds obviously one more.
Yeah.
If he's up for skill, it's another weapon that they can use. It means for those, by the way, for those Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's owners, sell now.
Yeah.
I would definitely try and trade away for him. He had a nice week ish, like an okay week.
An okay
average.
week for him. Yeah.
So if there's ever a time to get rid of that headache that you had from picking him on the second, third round, then it's now.
Yeah.
And with Josh Gordon, another wide receiver to the mix, it's not an offense that runs the ball. So
yeah.
Anyway, so that's one. Christian McCaffrey avoided IR, so he's not going to go on IR. That's good news
yeah,
for those CMC owners.
I saw this just now. I actually kind of like scrolling through some fantasy news. I didn't see this earlier, but KJ Hamler tore his ACL Sunday and is out for the season. So very bad news if you're a KJ Hamler owner, but if you have Cortland Sutton, even Jerry Jeudy when he comes back from IR, Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton, I think, are must starts at this point. I know Cortland Sutton had a very quiet week this week, but the Broncos were out in front really early. He was involved in the game really early, but as soon as they jumped out to that lead, it became like a running game. And Teddy Bridgewater just was not throwing the ball at all. That's why we were talking like we want the Jets to score, so Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, these guys can actually get catches in, and they didn't get any catches in really after that. So I think in bigger games when the Broncos are behind, which I think are going to be coming up because they've had a very easy schedule up until, I think, who are they playing this week? Do we know?
Yeah, I have it in the... They're playing...
Ravens. So yeah, it's going to be that's a bigger task for sure. So I think they're going to be airing the ball out to Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick. I think must starts this week. Definitely going to get the volume that they didn't otherwise see this week.
Yep. No, I agree. They just keep losing wide receivers, so
yeah.
Hopefully. KJ Hamler was the guy that he was eligible for a quarterback at some point, right?
I think so. Yeah.
He was a complete dud.
Yeah.
He did negative points. My goodness. But yeah, I mean we can stay here and talk about news over and over again. But we do have Cowboys and Eagles coming up in about 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Great divisional game as always in Dallas. I think it's gonna be lit. Predictions: Is this gonna be another defense game like they have with the Chargers, the Cowboys and Chargers, or is this going to be a blowout? Obviously, we're all hoping for a blowout, but what are you more inclined towards?
I really hope it's not a defensive game. I don't even think it can be a defensive game because the Cowboys can't play defense. So I'm hoping it's definitely more of a shootout here. I have personally put on over 55 points for this game, so I'm praying. It has to be a shootout. There's no other two ways about it. So
put 45.
You put over 45? My bet was 250 passing yards each quarterback, and then over 55 points. I won that yesterday with the LA Rams and Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. It was actually over 300 passing yards for both quarterbacks. Both of them did it. They scraped through, I think, by 1 point to get over the 55. So I'm hoping this one's the same. And I also think this is going to be a big Devontae Smith game. He didn't really have a big week last week. He went 2 for 7, I think, 2 receptions on 7 targets. But I think the Cowboys defense is a lot more leaky compared to the 49ers defense. So I really think this is going to be a shootout because I think Dallas's offense is superior to that of the Eagles, but because the Cowboys defense sucks, or it doesn't suck. It's just below par. I think they're gonna also have a big night, so I just really hope it's kind of like bombs all over the field. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't want a running game. Please do not start running with Zeke and Miles Sanders first down, second down, third down. Let's just air it out, guys. If we throw an interception, it's okay. You'll get them next time. Just throw big, deep bombs every throw.
So I agree with the spectatorship, but I did put bets on it being a rushing game. So I have
thanks.
The over. I think it's either 14.5 or 16.5 rush attempts by Elliott.
Yeah.
I just hope they put out a few early so I can relax for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But
you want a couple early touchdowns. That's how you want the first quarter to be eventful, because the first quarter is generally the least eventful out of all the quarters. So you get those 2 early touchdowns in, the over always looks juicy.
That's true.
But if you're heading into the second quarter 7-0 or 3-0 or 3-3 or something like that, you're like, there's got to be a lot of offense for the rest of the game, unfortunately. But I have put on the Dallas Cowboys to win money line. I don't trust the spread here. I don't like the -4. Too many games are being settled by field goals for me to feel comfortable betting against the spread for this game. If it was -3, I probably would. -2.5, I definitely would. But -4 is just too much for me. If I think it's going to be a shootout, I can't really bet on the -4. So Eagles +4, probably. I would probably stick with that more than Dallas Cowboys -4, but I think Dallas do win, so I'm putting them on the money line anyway.
I do agree, and not just this week, but Dallas tends to, all of the games, not all of the games, of course, but most of the games that are, prime time shows, like Monday nights or Thursday nights, they end up very close, and they do end up based on field goals. So,
yeah.
What are we thinking here? Let's think about on the Cowboys side. If you have any, maybe not Dalton, not Schultz, but any other offensive weapon that you have, you start here. From Elliott to Tom Pollard to CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, maybe even if in a deep league you're looking for what's the third wide receiver now that Gallup's out?
Okay, I remember. I'm not sure.
His name. Cedric something. Guy. I would. If you're in desperate need for something by Monday, go ahead.
Yeah.
And obviously Dak Prescott, he needs to come back from the game he had, fantasy wise, with the Chargers. He took the win, but those Dak owners were not happy. I'm actually against the guy that has Dak and Amari Cooper, and I am 32 points ahead.
Oh, so, I think you might lose that one, unfortunately. 32 is not a lot for a quarterback and a top wide receiver.
No, it isn't. And if I want my bet to go through, it needs to be high scoring.
Yeah.
So, kind of like my hedge. It's like I'll be either happy in one or the other.
Right.
But what about on the Eagles side? Miles Sanders, I personally haven't been watching a lot of the Eagles games. I know Kenneth Gainwell has been getting a few touches here and there. But what do you think of Miles in this game, at least?
For fantasy-wise or actual football-wise? Because I think they're two different things. I think he is a competent running back, just not a fantasy running back. I don't think he gets enough points. There's just so many running backs ahead of him that you can plug in like in a 10-man league. I think there's 20 running backs probably you could plug ahead of him, so I don't think I would ever really start him. But I think he's a decent running back for Philadelphia, and it does help that Jalen Hurts is a runnable quarterback. I think it really helps running backs if the other team knows that your quarterback is mobile, because then you have to kind of work towards and kind of, I'm losing my mind here. I'm trying to think of the word. Like practice for having two runners, basically. So if you have Ben Roethlisberger, you don't have to plan for him running the ball. If you have Kirk Cousins, you don't really have to plan him. Tom Brady, you don't really have to plan him. kind of even Matthew Stafford, you don't really have to plan for him running the ball too much either. But with Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott, it's two different things. You got to make sure that you have a backup plan for those guys running the ball.
That's true. That is very, very true. And in kind of Ganwell, now they have a bit of like a rookie getting some extra touches there, add some dynamic to that. Tight end positions. Zach Ertz is confirmed. Well, he has been confirmed to be okay to play. Be getting out of COVID. Obviously, it's funny. I was reading this, and I think both of them said that they're the second tight end to the other one. So it's like Dallas was like, oh, I'm second to Zach Ertz, and Zach Ertz is like, oh, I'm second to Dallas.
Right.
I mean, we clearly know that Dallas kind of with that. Dallas Goedert took a bit of the TE1 there. But would you play Zach Ertz? Let's say that you had. Here, I'll put you in a situation. You didn't pick up any of the top tight ends, and let's say you had Logan Thomas against the Bills, and you were hoping that Zach Ertz, was going to be available. Would you have played Logan Thomas against the Bills, or would you have waited for Zach Ertz?
I'll put it this way: I dropped Zach Ertz in a couple of my redraft leagues. I just don't that I don't believe in him. I just never like the two tight end teams. It's kind of like having that running back by committee kind of like team. You don't want a team where they have two very close, tight-knit running backs, which is why I think like Zeke's value is taking a little bit of a hit with Pollard playing a lot more than people expected. And the same with like when you have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. You don't know which one's going to get the touches. So yeah, I would go with Logan Thomas just because he's almost guaranteed the catches at this point and receptions. He is a huge threat. Whereas with the Eagles, you don't know who's on the field for most of the game. So just on that premise, I haven't seen enough from Zach Ertz to be like, okay, we can rely on him to score a touchdown. He might only get 2 catches, but he's going to score that touchdown. To me, it is I like to stay away from both these tight ends. I don't have either of them in any league. I dropped Zach Ertz in our league, actually. He was my backup tight end. I got him in the last round, I think. And he just, he's had COVID, so that's why I dropped him, but he's just not someone I would play over like Kyle Pitts, who I currently have. Pitts hasn't been great, but at least he's consistent in getting, the 5 to 9 points. Zach Ertz, I only get 2 points. So who knows? He's kind of like a boom or a bust. That's how I would put it. I don't really ever see him getting like 8 points. It's either going to be like, Zach Ertz. I only see him getting like 15 points or 2 points. I don't ever see him getting like an 8 to 9 point game.
When was the last time he even had more than 10 points?
Probably last season. But he's only played one game this year, so. Or has he even played a game? Yeah, I think he played the first game. So. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. I think the thing is, this is still too early in the season. I think we can do this kind of analysis week 8 when we have those 7 other games to look at, whereas right now we only have 2 games to look at, especially for these 2 teams. They only play twice. Yeah. So it's kind of like we have such a small sample size, and then with Zach Ertz being out week 2, we only have a 1 game to look at. So it's like really... I don't know. Is it a fluke? Is he going to get 14 catches today? Is he going to get 2 catches? Is he going to be involved at all? Who knows? So I would never start someone who has played 1 game coming back from COVID. I'd always kind of like wait and see how it goes. Logan Thomas is kind of guaranteed on most matchups anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and it also depends really on your, I guess, the amount of bench also you have in your fantasy. I mean, I dropped mine because I had a very very thin bench. I think it's 5.
Yeah.
And I had Mark Andrews. So I'm like, am I really going to keep Zach Ertz for a whole season for that bye week? Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many other tight ends that I can pick up at any time, at least for the way we are. Mark Andrews finally had to put up some numbers, even in a very, slow game.
Yeah.
It kind of gave us Mark Andrews owners a bit of a breather.
Yeah.
But yeah, all my leagues went really well, except for this one that I'm hoping that can. I mean, let's put it this way: I want it to be high scoring. I just don't want it to go through Amari Cooper.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the good thing
So
about the Dallas offense is it's kind of, um, it's got a lot of weapons. Two running backs, two decent wide receivers, and then also Dak Prescott can run the ball. So it's not like they're going to be throwing it to the same guy every single time. They don't
yeah,
have that one guy who they have to like pound their way to every single time. So I think you might be okay, but let's wait and see. I saw on Twitter now that two different people have placed $100,000 in the Eagles money line. So two people are very confident in Eagles winning. That would pay out $258,000 if they win. Kind of crazy.
Dallas, man, like that Molly for that, like 2.5. What is it? Two, yeah, two.
Yeah, I mean
What you said,
2.58. Yeah,
250?
yeah,
250. Okay, 2.58. Like
crazy.
like you have to be a rich Eagles fan to do that.
I guess, but
Just
I think it's just so in the US. I'll talk from a USA standpoint anyway. It feels like every month a new state kind of legalizes gambling. So right now we only have probably like 10 states, 11 states who are allowed to gamble at the moment. So when you open that up to, so I think this year alone we've opened up to like 4 more states. More and more people are getting involved in gambling, which means there's gonna be more and more money pumped into it, and I think we're gonna be seeing a lot more of these like $100,000 bets, $200,000 bets. I mean, me and you were putting on baby money in comparison. Well, that really, we are still putting on baby money. Period.
yeah,
um, so,
for sure.
yeah.
Still, yeah. Hey, you get the exposure, you make it a little bit more fun. Back to the Eagles offense. Let's see. Obviously, like you said, you're saying Devonta Smith is going to have a good game.
I hope so.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'd say more than 5 receptions for sure.
I think the over under is 5.5. So
Then
let's hope for
100,000.
6.
Let's do it. $100,000.
I already put on money on over 5.5, so I need it to come through. This is why I need it to be. I don't want this to be a ground and pound game. I have so much, not so much money, so much riding on the fact that I need this to be a shootout game with wide receivers or pass catching running backs, which Zeke definitely is. I just do not want it to be a running game because that will just really kill the vibe. So yeah.
Just that's kind of like what I expected this. That's why it's like
It's weird.
I just hate. But
So I was just gonna say, like, it's weird. Everyone that I've kind of watched, whether it's fantasy wise or betting wise, has said that it's either going to be like a 35 to 35 game or it's going to be like a 12 to 15 game. There's like no one has ever said it's going to be like a 25 to 27 game. It's always like one end of the spectrum or the other. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which side it actually is. Hoping it's all the way up here, the highest scoring game of the year. Get a 40 to 40 game. That would be nice.
Hopefully, I mean, I have Tony Pollard over 2.5 receptions and 21.5 receiving yards. Zeke Elliott over 14.5 rushing attempts. Amari Cooper 5.5 receptions, and then over 45.5. That's mine.
Nice. That's solid. I really should be hedging. Like, should put like a bet on where it's gonna be like way under the total because every bet I put on today is literally being like over. So I'm gonna be down a bit if I don't win.
Yeah, you made a good point. Like it's a lot more fun and better emotionally for betting the over than it is for the under.
Oh, the under just sucks. I hate betting the under. Yeah, but betting the over when it's this high is just as emotionally stressful, I think, because it always comes down to the fourth quarter. If the under is like 39.5, that can be easily blown by in the second half. But when it's as high as 55, for me anyway, that is, no matter how good the game is. Like the Rams versus Buccaneers game was a shootout, and it barely scraped by. So we really need this to be another shootout.
How much is it? 50? You said 55.5?
It's just 55, so it'll be 54.5. It says 55 or over. I don't know what that is. Mine's 4-1, so I'm
They
praying.
won. Wow. So it's 2.2 to 1. What the hell?
Nice. I think my
Lucky you.
sports book boosted it though. I think that's why. I think it was 2 to 1. And they made it 4 to 1, which made it me think, oh god, this is it. I'm gonna go for it.
This is it.
This is third. It's third and long. I gotta go for it.
Yeah. So what other offenses does the Eagles have? They have Jalen Rieger, I guess. I see him putting up for 45 receptions. Maybe the long ones. I really don't know what to expect from Eagles. Like for the Cowboys, I know exactly what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
It's just the Eagles to me. I don't know what to expect from their defense. I mean, I guess to be fair, I'm gonna say they shut down, but like they kept the Falcons
Right.
low, and then they kept the 49ers pretty low.
Yeah.
I think it was 17 points towards the end.
Yeah.
But we saw what the 49ers offense can do in one half. You know, it could be really bad.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, I'm hoping for the sake of our viewership, it's gonna be a big baller of a game.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Yeah. I really don't. I think the offense really is gonna go through Miles Sanders and Devontae Smith tonight. Two very young guys. But yeah, they don't really have that many weapons, or as compared to Dallas has. But then again, they're playing against a weaker defense, so I think I can't remember his name. Let me quickly check it. They had one guy in training camp who's really good, Kez Watkins, I believe, is kind of working opposite Devontae Smith with Rieger in the slot and then Smith on the other side. So watch out for him. He might be actually a decent bet to put on since he's still relatively unknown. I don't know what his over on receptions or yards are. I always prefer receptions to yards. If you want to quickly look it up, I think Devontae Smith 2.5. That's not that bad. So if we're looking at it, Devontae Smith is only 5.5. His is 2.5, and those are the two kind of like targets apart from Rieger. What's Rieger's? His must be like 3.5, 4.5, right?
3.5, yeah.
3.5, yeah. Yeah, so
And Cedric Wilson was the other guy, by the way. Cedric Wilson.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Let me see his yards. Chris Watkins, 29.5.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
But is he a slot? No.
Who? Watkins, did you say?
Yeah.
No, he's out wide.
29.5.
Yeah.
Not bad. 29.5. Let's see, 29.5 plus the over on his own receptions. 2.8. Doable.
Man, I think this is going to be a big game for Ezekiel Elliott. I have a feeling that this is going to be... Everyone has just been piling on him, saying he's washed up and blah, blah, blah. And this is going to be Tony Pollard is just as good as him. I think this is going to be the time that he goes and
I hope they both do well.
Yeah.
I hope they both do well. But yeah, again, I'm just hoping for a really good start to the game. Get some run-ins, get the attempts out there for me so I can relax.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is you want, like I said, we need to start good. We need those receptions in early. We need the yards in early. We need the touchdowns in early, and then we can sit back and relax for the rest of the game. If it is a very stop-start, running every down is a run and then a long bomb, which is broken up, we're in trouble. So we need a good start. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh well, it's gonna be a great game. Eagles Dallas in about 15 minutes. Unless you have anything else you want to talk about.
No, I think we go get ready for this game, man. Go get some chips and salsa and sit back, relax, and pray to God that our bets are. How do you say it? Say it in Spanish.
Chips y salsa.
That sounds.
Chips con salsa. But we do say the chips, I guess.
That's a lot sexier than we say it. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we have a great game. These usually are. Whether again high scoring, let's hope. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for reaching out. If you guys ever have any questions about what we do, feel free to reach out to our socials in our descriptions, and give us a sub, give us a like, and hopefully, we'll see you on Thursday. We're gonna do our general tiers.
That's my
we're gonna
favorite
be-
day of the week now because we go through
I
those
know.
tiers and look forward
I
to
know,
the
we
games
can-
of the week. Yeah.
We can dump down the Steelers, dump down the
Yeah.
Niners a little bit, dump
Yeah.
down what's the other one
Kansas
that they
City.
were-
Kansas City has to go down
City.
though. Yeah. Yeah, and but mate, we gotta think about our trash of the week. Who's the trash of the week this week?
If Ravens had lost, that's probably them.
We can talk about
Jets
it on
didn't
Thursday.
score.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
the
We'll
Jets
think-
could still be on the trash of the week,
Yeah.
but we'll think about it. Hey, who knows? Maybe one of these teams will end up in trash of the week. We don't know.
That's true.
We
It
don't know.
could be a complete flop. Hopefully not.
Could be. Yeah,
Or
that's-
for the sake
that's
of our
not-
wallets.
If we lose every single bet, both of these teams are going in trash of the week. So we can
I
be
agree.
like that.
Both of them.
All right, cool.
All right, guys. See you guys on Thursday.
Bye. Thank you for joining us.